everyone, welcome to Vlogmas day 18. I decided not to do a vlog for this day of Vlogmas just because I knew I wasn't going to be doing much besides going to the gym, and that's literally all I did. And other than that, I laid in bed. So I just wanted to do a Q&A because I've not done one since literally this summer. And I asked you guys on my Instagram, so if you're not following me, you definitely should. It's just abby.asselin. I have it linked down below. I asked you guys on there to ask me questions, and I asked you guys to ask me some good ones because I do feel that I answer a lot of the same ones over and over again, usually in Q&As. I will leave my boyfriend tag, VLOGMAS from last year, and then my Q&A with my boyfriend that I have, and then my internship Q&A, and then my most recent Q&A that I did link down below if you want to just binge all those and you're like a newer subscriber or something, because I'm going to try my best to not answer any questions that I've answered before. I really think today's Q&A, you guys are gonna like find out a lot about my like past life, like maybe like high school, what my life was like in high school, and just kind of who I am as a person, my goals for the future, that kind of stuff. So let's just go ahead and get started. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't already. So just as like a little disclaimer for the beginning of the video, I guess it's a disclaimer. If you don't know, I'm a junior at the University of Alabama studying accounting and finance and specializing in professional accounting. And I have a boyfriend that I've been dating for a little over a year, so I think that will give you guys a good basis for who I am if you don't really know anything about me. I got a good amount of questions asking why I chose the University of Alabama, which I can leave my video that I literally did solely on that when I first started my channel, so it's definitely very cringy and I do not look well in it. But I can leave that link down below too, or put a card in or something, because I go into like a lot of detail about why I chose Alabama and that. But overall, I've always been like an Alabama football fan. Didn't go because it was my favorite football school, but it was cheapest for me to go there actually, just based off of scholarships, and that's definitely one of the best things about Alabama is their scholarships are phenomenal. It's definitely harder to get the full ride now, but when I went, we had to have like a 32 on our ACT and like above a 3 something GPA in high school. So I busted my butt for that because my brother also went to Alabama and he is 2 years older than me. And when he was applying, which was literally 2 years before I went, the ACT score was a 30 for a full ride, and then it jumped to a 32, and now I'm pretty sure you have to have a 36. So yeah, I just absolutely love the campus. It's so beautiful, like the buildings are beautiful. There's 4 seasons. It's like a good distance from home. It's not too close and not too far. It's like 5 hours from home for me, and it's just great, and having my brother there was awesome. It's just a well-rounded school in general. Like a lot of people hate on Alabama, but they don't realize that like it's actually a good school. I literally am not joking when I say every other question was about me getting married and if I want to marry Griffin and like when I'm getting married, and I'm like, holy cow, I guess I've never addressed that before, which is weird. I kind of just feel like you guys know or assume already. I don't know. Yeah, so I got a bunch of questions like, when do you want to get engaged, when do you want to get married, but most of them were like, are you and Griffin gonna get married, like straight up. And I'm not someone who really just like dates to date. Like if I'm dating you, I am wanting to invest my time and like my energy and effort into you and to building our relationship together and building each other separately. Like I'm fully invested, and why would I want to waste my time like doing all that for someone and spending all my time investing in someone for it to not be a long-term thing? You know what I mean? Like that's something I personally don't understand. Like I understand the whole just casually dating thing because you're trying to just like get to know people. I get that, but like in terms of like long-term dating, I'm not gonna date you for like a long time without intentions of getting married. Like obviously, like if something were to happen, then whatever. I mean, we do intend on it fully. We have talked about it. Like it's both of our intentions to be together for the rest of our lives, so it's kind of like nice knowing that, but at the same time we haven't like talked about getting engaged really at all. Like it would definitely be after graduating school. Long story short, yes, I plan on marrying him, and we've come like a very long way in our relationship. Like our relationship this time last year is entirely different from how it is now, and I'm very grateful for that. I also got a bunch of questions just asking about like where I want to live after school, and then a lot of people already know that I've mentioned like I want to go to Houston after school. And then one specific question said if Griffin was the reason I want to go to Houston after school. And it's yes and no. Yes, in the sense that he does want to go back to Houston. He's from like a suburb of Houston, so like most people I think from Texas go back to Texas because Texas is literally amazing, and it's so nice going to a state where people are actually prideful in their state. Like everyone from Florida hates Florida, I feel like, and it's like really funny, but it's also really sad. So he wants to go back to Houston, which it's nice because like you can go to Houston, but like you can be like in a suburb of Houston and be away from the city, or you can be in Houston and be close to everything. I can say that yes, it is because of him, because he does want to go back there, but there's no reason for me to come back to my hometown, and the only other place I would want to go is New York, and that would just be for my first like, you know, 3 to 5 years post grad life and just kind of like working. But I wouldn't want to raise a family in New York, I don't think. But just as far as like Texas goes, there's no state income tax, cost of living is really low, there are amazing in-state schools for when you have children, like holy cow, literally some of the best in the nation. And it's just a huge state, and it's very diverse. I've always liked Texas, and I've said since probably high school that I would like to go to Texas because I have a ton of family. Like my entire side of my dad's family is from Texas, so they are all there. So I've been plenty of times, and then I interned there this summer. Absolutely loved it. I think it's a great place to raise a family, and then also like if you're young, it's a great place because you can go to like the Heights, and it's definitely like good for that. So yes, he does play a role in it, but at the same time, no. But also my brother's moving to Houston for his job, so it's kind of like, why not go? I told Griffin he's lucky that I'm from a small town and don't want to go back and can't go back. There's just no opportunity here unless you are like born into a family that has a business here, or you somehow just like have connections here for like a better job, because there just really is not much potential where I'm from at all. I got so many questions about if I still plan to do YouTube after graduation, and yes, I never want to stop doing this because this has just really shaped me into who I am today, and it brings me like so much joy and happiness and contentment overall, and I just can't imagine my life without it and without you guys. And I like also got questions on content I plan on vlogging still, like damn my life at work, like ugh, but I don't really know. Like, I mean, maybe just like any post-grad videos for that time of my life, you know, like finances, that kind of stuff. I don't really know, like that's just gonna like be something time will tell. I also got a lot of questions that was like, if I wasn't majoring in accounting and finance, what would I be majoring in? Or if I could switch to any major, what would it be? Initially going into school, I really wanted to go into journalism because my like dream as a child was to be a Today Show host. So that kind of like explains why I started YouTube, because I don't know, when I was little I like loved doing like the morning announcements and everything, and I was like, I want to be a Today Show host. But so I really wanted to do journalism or something in like communications, but my dad told me to pursue something that like I could, you know, like have better earning potential with, just so I could be like financially stable with my family, which I totally respect and get. And at the time I did not understand, and it made me really frustrated, but I understand why he said that, because it's easy to like, it's a lot better to, you know, like get a degree in something that you still like and enjoy, but then, you know, like as far as like teaching goes and like journalism, I feel like you could go back and do those things easier than you could, you know, like go back to school and get like a finance degree, if that makes any sense at all. And I'm not like dissing on journalism or anything like that, like it was just like my dad's advice to me and I took it. How do you keep such high self-esteem? I may like come off like I do, but like, okay, so I go through phases of like being like pretty like confident in myself and everything, and I think YouTube has helped me really embrace who I truly am as a person, because I definitely used to have like identity crisis in high school all the time because I identified with so many different groups of friends. My hometown's very like cliquey as far as, you know, like groups go, because everyone here has pretty much grown up here, and I came here in 2nd grade and I went to like a different elementary, middle school than everyone did in high school. So I kind of like just jumped into this high school and ended up being like friends with like the athletes, like my volleyball friends, and then I had like, you know, like a very like popular friend group, and that's kind of like who I still talk to the most today, just because they've been like a bit more constant throughout high school and college. And then I was also friends with like people who went to other schools that I knew from like my other schools, or like gymnastics when I did that. So I've always identified with different groups, and I think that that kind of like affected like me not even knowing who I was. And then like once I started YouTube, I like really like grew in my own self and in my identity, and I figured out who I was. And I think like just knowing who I am, what I stand for, what I believe in, and all of that really helped me be more confident. And I don't know, like YouTube has definitely made me more confident, but as far as having high self-esteem goes, I don't really have it. Like especially recently, like I would say like the end of this year, it's been really rough. Like I've been awful about like comparing myself to like girls I see on Instagram and like just being like, why don't I look like that, like what the heck, and like just being very self-conscious about things, which is not like me. Because I would say, you know, like in the summer and like April and that kind of time of year in the spring, I was definitely doing very well in my like mental and emotional health and everything. And then like I don't know what it is about the end of the year, but it just like went out of whack. So, but I would say like just doing things that make you feel good. Don't ever do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, because that's going to reflect in how you feel about yourself. Do things that make you happy, because I feel like when you truly are happy, that's when you have the most self-esteem, because you're confident if you're doing what you love and being around people you love. What other schools did you think about going to? Were you always set on Alabama? I kind of knew in the back of my mind that Alabama was it once I got the ACT score I needed. Other schools I applied to were Flagler College in St. Augustine. That school is absolutely beautiful, and St. Augustine's beautiful. I had visited St. Augustine numerous times, and I kind of just applied like just because. And it's like a liberal arts school, so I like don't really know what I would have like done there, honestly. And then I applied to University of Florida, and which like obviously it's in state, so like I just applied there. I did get in, and they don't really give scholarships, so it was actually more expensive for me to go there in state than it was for me to go to Alabama out of state with my scholarship. And I honestly just like didn't really like Florida when I toured it and everything. Like I did not feel right for me. It is a great school, but I just was just like, yeah, no. And then I also applied to NYU, and that was like my dream school. I initially had plans of applying to like 12 schools, and then once I started paying the fees and everything to apply, I was like, oh crap, this is expensive. And I kind of just like toned it down to 4. So I did get in everywhere, like, and getting into NYU is like a dream come true. And I wanted to go so bad, but I had never even been to New York before, and it had just always been a dream school for so long, and I don't know why. I had just always been so drawn to it and the idea of it. But when I realized that I would be putting myself in $250,000 of debt to attend, I was like, I probably shouldn't go there. So that's how I decided with Alabama, not to mention like plane tickets for going home and stuff. That would have been awful. Favorite workout clothing brand? Lululemon and Fabletics. Fabletics is like the cheaper end, but it's definitely comparable to Lululemon, and then Lululemon's just like the splurgy side of it. So those are like 2 like good brands. I really liked this question because it's like a little bit different than like how do you stay productive all the time, because I always get that question. But it's, where did your work ethic come from? I see how motivated and focused you are. And I thought that was a very interesting and good way to phrase it. A little bit of a backstory, and it's probably gonna take forever for me to explain, but I did gymnastics like competitively growing up. I didn't go like super far. I got to like level 6, and then I like quit because I like saw my friends playing middle school sports, and I was like jealous that they had a ton of free time and could hang out with each other on the weekends, and I was like, I do nothing but gymnastics and I have no time for anything. So I quit. Sorry, Griffin called me, so brief break, but we're back. So yeah, I did gymnastics, and I think that instilled a lot of like self-discipline in me. I don't know what it is about that sport, but it just like makes you very disciplined. And I guess it's just because I don't really know what it is. Anyways, when I was in high school, we were like pressured, I don't want to say pressured, but like it was a thing if you were in like the advanced program at our high school to, and I just went to a public high school, but it was a thing to literally like take so many AP and DE courses. I literally went into college with like 52 hours, I think, just from like taking AP and DE courses. And like, yes, my work ethic came from there, but like I remember my freshman year I took like AP World and like did not pass the exam, but I didn't really care, and I didn't care about my grades that much freshman year. So I got like I think 2 of my 3 Bs of high school were in my freshman year, and it was because I just didn't care, and I was playing volleyball, and I was like, whatever, I don't care. And then sophomore year they like came out with our like class ranks or whatever, and this was when my brother was a senior, so I was like kind of learning more about like the college application process, the ACT, SAT. I had no idea what the PSAT was when I was taking it. I was like, well, what are we doing? And I was like 20 minutes late to it, and like I was just seeing my brother apply to schools and everything, and I saw how important class rank was and like GPA was, and I was like, okay, maybe I should like try. And I mean, like, I just didn't really have to try that hard in middle school. And like in a middle school I had like hard classes. I was on math team in middle school, and like that instilled a lot of work ethic because we went to competitions. We went to like the state competition. We would every year we had to meet like an hour and a half before school 2 days a week, so like that was a lot of dedication. I saw that I was number 4, and I was like, how? Like, but it was because I had an AP class and they were like weighted heavier. And since I had one my freshman year, that like helped me a lot, and I helped a lot of other people a lot, so like a lot of us had the same GPA. But then my sophomore year I took 4 AP classes, and then I had 3 like honors classes. So I think that was when it really turned around, because I saw where I was with my class rank and I was like, I can take this somewhere if I work hard. And I honestly felt a lot of pressure because my brother was in the top 10 of his graduating class, like GPA wise. But anyways, long story short, I felt a lot of pressure to do as well as he did, because in high school I had a lot of issues with comparing myself to the people around me, whether it was volleyball or just comparing myself to my brother with grades, because he never really had to try that hard and I had to like try really hard for my grades, even though they were good and just as good as his eventually. I had to try a lot harder. So I was constantly comparing myself. I was very scared and like spooked out that I wouldn't be able to go to a college outside of my hometown because I wouldn't get the right score on the ACT, because I started at a 26 and then I made my way up to a 32. And I think my work ethic just literally came from the fear inside of me of being stuck in my hometown and not being able to go off to school where I want to go and get, you know, like a college experience, because it simply isn't like financially feasible for my family for me to go out of state. I was like super competitive with class rank, because I ended up moving up to number 1 I think during my junior year, and I held that spot while playing like varsity volleyball my junior year, and taking like more than 7 college classes in 1 school year. And just because we had 7 periods and I took every single period as a AP or dual enrolled my junior year, I just got super competitive because I saw where I was at. I didn't want to lose that spot, and that was definitely a leg up on my college applications, I think. Being able to put like that I was like number 1 at a time on my college applications instead of just putting that I was in the top 10 percentile, if that makes sense. Because like if you're a valedictorian or salutatorian, I'm pretty sure that they have a spot where you indicate that instead of just saying you're in the top 10%. So being able to say that was like a huge achievement for me, and I was very competitive over that spot. And then towards the end of my senior year, I like lost the spot and became salutatorian, which was totally fine. It was literally high school that instilled the work ethic in me. It's like once I see where I am or where I can be, I get really driven and I get really competitive, and nothing gets in the way of me and that goal, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm graduating number 1 or 2, like it is happening. And I had like 365 people in my class, I think, or something like that. But I think once I saw what I could make of it and how important it was for me to do well, I just really grinded it out. So that's where it comes from, and I just carried that over into college, I think. So I got a lot of questions about my dream life, like where I want to be 5 or 10 years from now. And I just don't know, you guys. Like I want more than anything to just do YouTube, speak to people, help people, and write a book. Like that's all I want to do, like honestly. But it's just like not stable and not secure, and it's scary. I mean, I'm gonna keep doing this and hopefully it'll turn into that eventually one day, because that's like my dream. But I think that, you know, like on a realistic term as far as like career goes, I just want to be happy with my job. Like I don't know what job I want to do in 5 to 10 years. Probably I say a CPA, but even if it's not that, like maybe something in finance with investment, like with wealth management or something. I don't know. I really enjoy both of those things with accounting and finance, but I just don't know what the dream job is at this point. I just can say that in 5 to 10 years from now, I really hope to be happy where I'm at, and I don't dread waking up every morning and going to work, because I won't be living a life like that, I can tell you that much. The best habit I've developed and would recommend to you guys, I would say my best habit is honestly just like unapologetically being myself, because you're not going to make genuine friends, you're not going to have genuine relationships, you're not going to get anywhere in your career like if you are faking who you are. So I think every day waking up and just being like, just totally embracing who I am is like, I know it's a weird like habit to say, but like it is what I do. Like I wake up every day and I'm like, you know, like this is me. I'm not letting anyone change that, and just knowing that really helps me with my relationships and like career and job and stuff, I think. A second choice for school, unrealistically NYU, realistically, or really unrealistically NYU would have been number 1, but realistically speaking, I'm guessing Florida. Yeah, Florida. I had a question if I'm in an honors college at UA, and yes I am. What do I dislike about UA? I really dislike how your freshman year, if you're not like in a sorority or fraternity, you literally feel like a POS, because you're just like, it's so hard to make friends. And I also got questions about that, like if it's hard to make friends when you're not in a sorority. And it is your freshman year, but then like once you get into your major classes, like you start to make so many friends. So that's like, once I held out and like realized that, it was much better. But my freshman year, I was literally miserable because everyone around me was in a sorority and they were constantly going off on retreats and like date parties, and I would just be stuck in my dorm and I was like, holy crap, I don't know anyone, and it was really depressing. But it worked out fine. How do I deal with feeling insecure? I do literally whatever I can that like makes me feel confident, which is usually like working out, putting on makeup, you know, like doing things that make me happy, and just kind of like staying off social media, because like even if you aren't someone to compare yourself, I don't think going on social media will help your mind if you're in an insecure state. Like even if you're like, oh, it's not gonna bother me, I think subconsciously it does bother everyone. So kind of just like taking a break from that. Car do you drive? Toyota Corolla 2015. Are you going to graduate school? If so, to major in what? I plan on going to graduate school to get my master's, and that's solely so I can be a professor. That's like part of that other like route I have on my dream job. Like my dream job would ultimately be to be a professor after field experience. So like I don't know what my dream job would be like 5 to 10 years from now if I went like in terms of the accounting and finance route, but like down the road, like my dream job would be being a professor. And I don't care if it's accounting or finance or econ, like one of those three. I'm really like all three subjects, so I think that I'd be fine with any of them, and that's why I'm getting my master's, just so I'll be able to do that. And I don't know if I want to get my master's in tax yet, or if I want to just get my master's of accountancy. And I've even thought about getting my MBA because I feel like that's very me, and I know that your earning potential and like the potential you have to become like an executive at a company is a lot higher if you get your MBA, but it's like literally like triple the cost, so it's a little insane. How did you disconnect your identity from your grades and perceived class rank? So going along with like what I said earlier, with me being in high school and like being like so obsessed with it, it was, guys, it was so unhealthy. If you're in high school now, please do not get caught up on it. Like it was good because I was very motivated towards something, and I think that really instilled the work ethic and the good habits I have for studying in me at such a young age, so it really helped me in college down the road. But at the same time, it was just so unhealthy because since I didn't really know who I was in high school, I didn't really find myself until I started my YouTube channel, which I know sounds like really cheesy and probably even cliche, but like it's so true. I had no idea who I was. I identified myself with like a tons of different groups of friends. I was like that one friend that's like a part of a ton of different groups instead of like being solely in one group. And I still am that way at school because all my friends are in like different sororities and everything, so it's like I'm friends with all these different groups and they have like their groups, and then I'm like this person on their own that just like hangs out with each person from different groups, and thus in turn hangs out with the group. You can't like think of it this way: if the entire world, like your status was determined on like your class rank, that would mean like the amount of like followers and likes you have on Instagram was determined by your class rank, and like, you know what I mean, stupid stuff like that. So just like realistically speaking, it makes no sense to identify yourself only with your class rank and like your GPA and everything. It's really hard not to, especially if you are like up there on the class rank, because you become so obsessed with it and it's just not healthy. But I guess the best way to like not find your identity in it is to make sure you take time outside of studying and whatever else you're doing to like find yourself and find your hobbies and what you enjoy and what attributes and qualities and hobbies like truly make you who you are, and like really spend your extra free time outside of studying really like drilling in and devoting to those things. Would I ever do YouTube full time? If it wasn't so risky, like, 'cause since YouTube could literally be on today or tomorrow, yes, but like the risk is so scary. But at the same time, me having like a degree I think would help, but I don't really know how much it would help if I were to just do YouTube straight out of college and then like 10 years later YouTube, you know, crashes or whatever and isn't a thing anymore, and then I'm like, hey, I have this degree but I haven't done anything with it in 10 years because I've been doing YouTube. I don't really think I'd get a job, so I don't know, it's hard. A lot of questions about how my hometown's doing like after the hurricane. If you guys didn't know, my hometown was like direct hit for Hurricane Michael that hit on October 10th, and it was a category 5. Well, they say category 4, but it was category 5 because once it made landfall, it was definitely there. It's not okay, like, at all. Like, literally the news forgot about us after like a week once the next thing there was to report on came about. So there's people out there who don't even know that it happened, which is very alarming. Like, wow. And I can like insert some pictures of what it looks like right now. There are so many family businesses that literally got destroyed that aren't going to be like opening back up. My middle school got destroyed, my elementary school got destroyed, and then my high school had like a decent amount of damage, but my elementary and middle school both aren't open. Our Air Force Base was completely like wiped out. Like the beach side of town, which I live on the beach side of my city, so it is not as bad. It still is bad in some places. Like a church down the road from me is like completely destroyed, but then like our house is fine. Like we have to get a new roof and fence, but it's like, how does that even happen? And then like in town is just like really bad. Like it's just really bad. And I would say probably 80% of my friends and the people I know are displaced and aren't living in their home right now, because so many homes are having to be completely gutted, like to where they're literally just like the wood and the foundation and like completely redone. Like so many people I know are living in condos right now, so it's like really sad that they're having to do that at the holidays, but I'm very thankful that I'm still in my home. As you're growing up, do you realize your friendships are lessening? Yes, but no. I definitely had like a lot of friends in high school, but I feel like I went through so many phases with friends in high school just because I was constantly trying to find myself, and through that process I like lost friends, gained friends, whatever, and I was constantly friends with like different groups, like I've said a million times. But I think now I definitely have like less friends than probably the average girl in college, but I would consider most of my friends very genuine for the most part, so I'm fine with it. I also got questions if like my major was something that I've always known I wanted to do, and absolutely not. I actually like was psychology coming into college, and then I switched to like MIS, and then I switched to finance, and then I switched to accounting, and then I changed to finance and accounting. But what made me choose like accounting when I switched over from finance to accounting is actually when I met Griffin's dad, because his dad has his CPA, and like he just has very good advice, and I trust his advice a lot. And he was just saying like, you know, you should probably do accounting instead of finance, and you know, like even if you can do both, do that. And I was like, well, yeah, I can, I have time. So I did both, and I'm very happy that I took his advice, because I actually enjoy accounting a lot, even though it is very hard and frustrating. I actually do like what I learn, and I feel like it's very valuable information. And I do really like finance too. So I kind of just like landed in it, but it took a lot of like trying things out. But I like, once I took my principles of accounting class, I knew I liked it a lot, and I did very well in it. So I was like, I should totally maybe pursue this, and then I did, and it just ended up like that. So I really never knew what I wanted to do. It just kind of happened. I got questions about if Griffin and I are gonna move in together on top of us getting married, and I actually did not re-sign for my apartment. I just didn't re-sign because Griffin and I talked about it, about living together. My brother and his girlfriend lived together their last year and a half, I think, of school. Yeah, last year and a half of school. And Griffin and I are at a serious stage in our relationship where we think that like that would make sense for us. So we are looking at, you know, like either getting a unit in the same apartment complex I'm in, so I can still be like near my roommate and everything, since we're friends and all that, of course, or just looking at somewhere really close by, because I really like my location right now. So we definitely are planning on it, but we haven't found anywhere. What is most important in growing your relationship with Griffin? Like I've said before, our relationship was totally different this time last year. Like we've done a 180, like seriously. And I think it's just because like I had just gotten out of like a very like serious relationship, and I kind of like knew like that I was definitely more mature in terms of relationship stuff, and he hadn't really been in that serious of one before. So we were just on different pages, you know. And it took us, we went through a lot, I would say, between like December and February, and we did take a break, but like it wasn't like we did not talk to each other. Like we still saw each other and hung out, and we were still communicating, and we pretty much ended up just coming to terms with each other and like just being like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna make it work. And I think both of us just being committed to that, like it took a lot of getting to know each other, let me just put it that way, because I feel like we both weren't really fully, like we were ourselves, but we weren't like, I don't know, like I feel like I know him so much better now than I used to, and he knows me so much better than he used to, and we just communicate so much better now, let me just put it that way. Our communication was very poor early in our relationship, and it is so much stronger now, and I'm so proud of how far we've come, and I'm so proud of us as a couple now. So I think that like the most important thing in us growing is us establishing what we both want out of this, and both of us like being like, look, we are going to communicate, and like both being willing to make it work. My biggest goal for 2019, probably just to like keep doing awesome like collaborations with brands on YouTube just to grow my channel even more. And then I would say just like being exactly where I want to be, or even better financially. I got a lot of questions about like FOMO and dealing with like the idea that your life isn't as exciting and fun as others, and like how to deal with like watching other people party and go out all the time. And it is hard because like I have a lot of friends at school who like literally just go out all the time, like get to have like a true like college experience like every night almost, which like I'm not saying that like partying and like going out is the college experience, because it's not. Like your college experience is what you want out of it, so as long as you're getting what you want out of it, then I consider it a good college experience. My thing is that like it's like I know that I have, you know, I have a job on campus, I have 2 majors I have to take care of, I have a dog I have to take care of, I have a relationship I have to invest in, I have friendships I have to invest in, and then I have YouTube I have to invest in. I don't even have time, like when I do worry about it, I hardly even have time to worry about that. But like I just sit there and I tell myself like, you have to work harder than most people if you want to do better than most people, you know? Like that sounds horrible, but like you're not going to achieve the level of success above average if you aren't doing what the average person isn't doing, you know? That's a little bit inspiring for you guys. Advice for going through a breakup and finding yourself again. Breakups are the worst thing on the planet, and there's so many things I would rather do than go through a breakup. I would rather literally like eat a spider and get like 50 shots in one sitting than go through a breakup. And that's saying a lot because I have a phobia of spiders. I literally hate them. They are horrible. My advice though is to like keep yourself busy and like try and like be hanging out with friends like a lot, and like try and like just not spend a lot of time in bed. Like make sure you're like working, like channel your negative energy into something else. Like really like kind of like take your negative energy and expend it into like your schoolwork and working out and hanging out with friends. Just keep yourself busy, because if you spend most of your time in solitude and alone, that naturally is going to make your mind think, you know, more about the breakup, and it's going to make it worse. So in terms of finding yourself again, just be willing to try a lot of new things and be willing to meet new people, and I think that that will kind of help you like find who you are again. What age do I want to get engaged? Definitely after college. I think I want to be married around like 20. I want to be married by like 28, I think. Definitely by 28. I'd like to get engaged though once I'm out of school. It could be like my brother proposed to his girlfriend, who's now his fiance, and they're getting married in May. And that's another thing about the hurricane, quick tangent, where they were gonna get married got destroyed, and now they're having to like do a destination wedding, which is like really sad. How many kids do I want to have? I used to only want to have like 2 because I grew up in a small family, but I think now I definitely want to have like 4 probably at least. And probably not, maybe not more than that. I don't know. Okay guys, so that concludes my Q&A. I'm sorry it was so long, but hopefully it makes up for not having a vlog today. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe down below if you aren't already, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And be sure to follow me on social media down below too, so you can have the chance to ask me questions in my next video. And thank you guys so much again for watching, and I hope that this was enjoyable. I tried to answer things that I haven't answered before and talk about things that I haven't before, so I hope you guys like it. Thanks for watching. Bye.